Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another tank review for you in the Russian line. This is a Russian premium Tier 8 medium tank, the T-44-100. As always, we'll have a look at the tech spec first in our complete guide using blitzhanger.com. Now, as a premium tank, the first thing we can say about it is it's a decent premium tank. It has a credit coefficient of 170%. Therefore, it will earn you credits, although as Tier 8s go, it is low for premium tank. I mean, it's mid-range for all Tier 8s, but for a premium it's one of the lowest in Tier 8. And as a tank itself, it's very like the tech line T44. There's not a huge difference and very similar handling, especially in movement. There's a medium gun, 100mm gun, which is fairly typical of Russian medium tanks. They're usually around 90 or 100mm. Has medium tank rate of fire, reload of 7.6 seconds. Now, the muzzle velocity on this tank is very low. Therefore, we need to use supercharge to get it up, and even with supercharge it's just over 1100 meters per second, so it's quite low. And as we know, muzzle velocity really affects the ability to pen, especially over distance, because it's squared in the formula for armor penetration. So you need to maximize that muzzle velocity in this tank because it's quite low. This tank is a very typical medium Russian tank. It moves like a medium. It has decent top speed, actually 51 kilometers an hour, which is really good. So it's faster than the T-54 prototype, for example. So we'll get around the map quite quickly. We can see here that its traverse speed is decent. One of the things about it though is that it has very little gun depression, so you need to be aware of that. So you're not going to be able to fire down into targets. And in terms of its armor profile, if we look here, it has frontal armor like the T-44 and like many Russian medium tanks and like German tanks. And the spaced armor though is interesting because that is HE protection. So we remember our shell dynamics. HE explodes on impact. Therefore, if you have something in front of it and the target, it explodes there and it absorbs a lot of the damage. If you look at the space between the spaced armor, you've also got the tracks in between. So if you're side on to a big gun that normally would fire a HE round at a medium tank, he is not going to be able to do much damage on you. Firstly, the spaced armor is going to absorb it, and then the tracks before it ever reaches your main armor. So you're going to absorb a lot of that damage, and therefore the only thing he can really aim at on the side is your turret, and you've got stronger armor there, of course, on the sides, as you can see. So therefore there's a lot of protection against the big guns you find in Tier 8 and Tier 9 firing HE at you. Now, you can run 2 repair kits in this tank. Because you've got the spaced armor though, engine accelerator is also an option, but I always run the 2 repair kits anyway, just in case. And you can create really nice armor angles on this. If you look at the relative armor numbers on the top left, you can see that they go up very high. The turret front on is difficult to pen, so all in all, yeah, this has a nice, very interesting armor profile, I have to say. And because of the spaced armor, better than its tech line equivalent to T-44. Now, in terms of tactics, I mean, this tank plays very typically like a standard medium tank. So if you remember the medium tank guide we had on channel, which tells you the role of a medium tank, what you should be doing in the game, and how you should be adapting during the game, being the CPU, the processor of information, and moving as the game unfolds, using the speed of the tank to get into positions to best suit the map as it unfolds, the game as it unfolds, team dispositions, and where of course you can do the most damage and support your team the best. So if you haven't looked at that guide or have looked at it a while ago, look at it again, because very much this is a very typical standard medium tank, and therefore colour by numbers, play by the book, you will do relatively well in this tank. Now, firstly, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check the setup, and I look and I see that we are outgunned on A, so therefore I decide to go to B, see if I can cap B. Now, by the way, one thing I would say to you, if we're talking a little bit about Blitz at a general level, we all have tanks that we don't do well in, and this one is one of those tanks for me. I find it very difficult to do well in this tank. I have a very low win rate in it. I don't think it's because I don't know how to play it, because I mean, and you'll see here, this is a mastery game. Also, my average damage, and I think is significantly over 2k. It might be around 2.2, 2.3k, something like that. So that's not bad at all. But the win rate's quite low. I just find, it's just an unlucky tank for me. I don't know why. I don't think it's a tank itself. I just think that there is a phenomenon in Blitz where we all have tanks that we don't do well in, and it's for particular reasons. I don't know why. Could be RNG, could be matchmaking, it could be for various reasons, but this is one of those tanks for me. And you'll see here, by the way, this game I get a mastery badge in it, but I actually lose. So even when I get a mastery badge in this thing, I still lose. So yeah, it's just one of those tanks for me. But I can't fault the tank itself. It's just, I think it's just one of those things in life, and you know, I'm not going to get too hung up about it. Now, as you can see here, the gun is relatively good. Put in some nice shots there, as you saw, but you really need to have supercharge for that. You would not make those shots if you did not have supercharge in this tank, because the muzzle velocity is just over 700 meters per second. It's too low to make those snapshots over distance like that. So if you want the gun to perform as it did in those 3 shots that we saw there, make sure that you have supercharge loaded up on the equipment. Now, just want to slow it down here. You saw there what it was like on the normal AP round. It's difficult to pen the big tank's front on, so slow it right down. That's why I switch up to APCR, because I want to be 100% sure that this goes through. I don't care if it's a lower alpha roll, it's better than not going through at all, which is a 0 alpha roll. It's possible it may have penned with the AP round into the lower glacis of the IS, but I've had experience with this tank that it doesn't always, so that's why I loaded up the APCR there. As I said, it may have gone through with the normal AP round, but I just wanted to make 100% sure, so that's why I put up the APCR. Now I'm going to get attacked by this little bat chat here. You can see the traverse speed is quite good in this tank. I get a bounce there by rolling backwards, wiggle, jiggle, wiggle, jiggle. Can I get away with it? Yeah, and I put a nice round into him there. So not so bad at all. Came out of that brawl pretty well, because as you remember from my Bat Chat review, that little Bat Chat, the junior Bat Chat, is a really good tank, and he could have really done some damage to me there. But I made it difficult for him. I angled up and made it difficult for him to get those shots onto me. He put one into me there while I was trying to actually fire past my ally to clear that red. Now look at this. This is concentration of fire in action. If you saw that there, I think it was the Waffle Tractor and I fired rounds at the same target, and we took him down from almost 1000 HP to a kill in just in less than a second. And that's the power of concentrating fire within the game. And there's my little friend again, the Bat Chap, another round into him. And then go into cover while reload. And now I'm going to try to see if I can come and help the Waffle Tractor. We're down on points, so it's going to be difficult. I really need that Waffle Tractor to put a big round into that motion, otherwise we're going to lose this game. I'm going to snap one off here at the Bat Chat, and yes, we cleared him. That's got us a bit of breathing space to see if we can clear the motion. Really, I need the Waffle Tractor to put a big alpha roll into that motion, because with my average alpha rolls and with the time remaining and my reload, even dropping supercharge, I'm not going to be able to clear him. I need the Waffle Tractor to try to even take a risk. I don't know why he didn't take a risk, because it doesn't matter if he dies trying to take this shot, we're going to lose anyway. So really don't know why he didn't take the risk, try to put a big alpha round into the motion, and we could have won that game. As you saw though, I got a mastery badge, almost 3.4k damage, 4 kills. I think I played the tank pretty well there. I capped, clearing off the enemy. The Waffle Tractor did well too. I think at the end he could have made the decision to go. If he died, it doesn't make any difference. We're going to lose anyway. So it was a zero. I think it's a zero-sum game for him. So I don't know why maybe he wanted his survival rate to go up. I don't know. But that's decision making. If he had been able to put in a big alpha round, we could have cleared off that motion and maybe won the game. But anyway, not to worry. Mastery badge delivered. But as I said, this tank, it doesn't like me. I don't know why. And even when I get a mastery badge, still lose. But that's life, and I'm not going to upset about it, because it is, after all, only a pixelated tank game. Okay, so this is a decent premium tank, as I said, 170% credit rating. Will farm credits for you, but it's not the best earner. You know, as I said, it's mid-range for tier 8, but as for the premium tanks in tier 8, it's actually on the lower end. It has good top speed at 51 kilometers an hour, is pretty good. I have to say. You can get around the map really well. It's maneuverable, as you saw. It's low profile too, don't forget that, so you're a small target. If you're behind small hills and that, you're very difficult to hit. And the spaced armour really helps, because those big guns could not get full HE rounds on you. That's really important if we remember our shell dynamics. So by the way, if you're in a brawl and there's a big monster gun facing up to you, go side onto him so he can't HE you. The reload is decent at 6.7 seconds, is good, therefore it's a good brawler. You saw there against the Batcha, he didn't fancy his chances, so that's why he decided to bugger off. It's a good circle death tank too, because it's really good, really mobile, low profile, traverses very good too. By the way, the armour also allows you to ram light tanks, so in a brawl you can bash them, just try to accelerate into them, knock out some modules, etc. The armour is pretty good on the front, as you saw. And it's a very typical medium tank, you know, so play it by the numbers and you should have some success, better than me. So therefore check out the medium tank guide, which will help you with this tank. I guess you probably would also like to know, would I recommend this tank? If you have all the other medium tanks in tier 8, then why not? It's not a bad tank at all. But if you're buying your first one, the tier 57 prototype is better. And it has a better coefficient, and it's an easier tank to play. It's more forgiving. So anyway, cheers Mush, thanks for watching, and I guess all that remains for me to say is pants off.